All right, I'm rolling.
Andy Gawns.
Are you rolling?
I'm rolling. How are you?
James McGrath, is that you?
It is. My long-lost friend, Mr. Andy Gawns.
Wow.
Down under.
I almost feel like I should reintroduce myself to you. Hi, I'm Andy. I like walks on the beach.
And spending all my money on Porsche cars. Yeah. I know who you are.
Facts. Well, hey, you guys as well, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Curb and Canyon, our podcast where we talk about all things Porsche.
All things Porsche all the time. And by all the time, we mean rather inconsistently and maybe every couple of weeks. But look, we're not going to apologize like we usually do at the beginning of our episodes that, hey, I'm sorry we haven't been here for so long. It's been busy. But what we are here to do is to go through an absolutely ripper bumper episode, the last one of the year, to take us out into 2023. So
welcome to Curb and Canyon.
You beat me to it. I was about to do that. No, it's all right.
Let's roll the intro.
So, Andy, we're back.
We are back, and as professional as ever. Wow, what a start that was, huh? But do you know what? I'm with you. You know, this. I probably would have launched with an apology, but you're right. We've got a really good way to close out the year. A cracking episode, I think, to finish with. So I'm just excited, and I think I messaged you in the week and said I was just really looking forward to having a chat. It feels like a while.
Yeah, definitely. It's the podcast. The fact that we record this is just like a happy benefit. It's always good having a laugh with you. But like so much has happened in the past month. I mean, you know, fall has been and gone. It's now the middle of bleak winter here, and summer's just getting cranked up for you, right?
Yeah.
You've had your Queensland, not Queensland. You've had your Tassie trip. I've put my car away from the winter. Porsche have been going crazy, launching all sorts of offshoots of the 911. We're going to talk about that. I mean, if it just feels like so much has happened in the past month, we're going to be sitting here for hours. Okay, guys,
strap in.
This isn't going to be the usual half an hour in and out, you know, cheerio, goodbye kind of podcast.
No, at least 33 minutes.
At least to take us out into the new year. And mate, there's so much to talk about. I mean, where do we start? What should we do?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I just want to circle back quickly to something you just said, which is I've put my car away for the winter. Ugh. God, that just makes me shudder, that idea that you just got to put it away. You're done. Like,
I know, it's sad. All right, so my 991, I had winter tires on that, and I really didn't care too much about taking that out. And it was a lot of fun. But I don't know, there's just something about the age of the 996 and the fact that, you know, ABS isn't quite reliable at the moment. I've got to fix that. And it's just had a fresh coat of paint. And, oh, my God, dude, dude, looking at my truck this week, it is filthy, absolutely filthy from all the salt and stuff that's been kicked up on the road. So I think. Well,
do you know what it sounds like to me? Do you know what it sounds like to me? Do you know what you need? You need the 911 Dakar.
What a great segue into one of our topics today.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I'll be here all week. I mean, yeah, I know that it's somewhat old news now, but gee whiz, we wanted to give our take. And yeah, you know what, James? This sounds like the car for you. The all-year 911.
It might be. You know, it's like there are sometimes funny coincidences kind of happen in life. And, you know, you think about somebody and then a few days down the street, you bump into them. You know, there was the pre-smartphone, there was that kind of coincidence. Now, you know, you talk about sex toys with the missus and you open up Amazon and all you get to see are adverts of sex toys. You know, it's just because they're listening to you. Or, you know, whatever you search on Google turns up on Netflix because you just can't trust any of these bastards. They're all selling data to everybody and you just can't breathe in your house anymore without somebody telling you that, you know, you need a cough medicine next time you log into Google. I think Porsche are doing the same thing because, I mean, like, how many Safari builds have we seen in popular press and social media this year, and people like coming out of the pandemic and taking project cars and you just like doing weird things to them. Even my friend Patrick down the road, he's turned his 997 into a camper van because he's installed a one of the Porsche specific aftermarket 2-man tents, which is now a permanent fixture on top of his 997. And next year he's going to be, like going camping all year. He's just going to do camping in his 997. I feel like Porsche, and I think this is a good thing. I think they've been listening to us. I think they've looked at the industry and they thought, okay, all of these idiots are out there like doing all these crazy things with 911. Let's show them how it's really done. Here's the 911 Dakar.
Yeah, I think there's something in that. I mean, because you're right, and we're gonna talk about Brock Keane, aka 996 Road Trip, a little later, and the trend that he has started with rooftop tents, and now Porsche have released their own version of that Yakima tent, and the 911 Dakar. I would say that without Lee Keane and his Safari 911s, and I know other people have done them as well, but he's really made it quite a thing that's found its way, it's weaved its way through the Porsche culture. I think that gives them the, let's say, confidence to say, yeah, we're going to have a crack at creating a vehicle like this. And I don't know about you, but I'm in two minds about a car like this, because on one hand, I think, who's actually going to buy this car and use it for its intended purpose, right? Like, I mostly think, I don't know what the numbers are in terms of how many they're going to build, but I imagine that most of these cars will be driven to and from Cars and Coffee, and whoever buys them will most likely do the whole Rothmans livery and all that sort of stuff, because again, if you've got the Rothmans livery, then you win Cars and Coffee. So great. I think there'll be precious few that are driven the way they're intended, and the people who do, if they spread that on Instagram, they will become instantly famous and loved for using the car as intended. So there's a cynical side of me that thinks, how is this car going to be applied? On the flip side, though, and I heard Sam from Sing Through Glass saying this, and I thought this was an interesting perspective. I love that Porsche are just doing this stuff. They're throwing shit at the wall and saying, let's see what sticks. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of that many other brands that are saying a car like this with seemingly such a niche usage window.
Yeah.
I can't imagine many other brands saying, yeah, let's do that. Let's tick that box and go for it.
Yeah, I think there's something there as well, because, you look at the production numbers for the last couple of years, and arguably because of COVID and supply chain issues, etc., Porsche haven't been able to keep up with consumer demand. But if that's the only goal, is to sell as many 911s as you can and sell as many Macans as you can, so every household in the world has a 911, and the majority of them are probably going to be base Carreras. What does that do to the Porsche brand? I don't want to live in a world where everybody has a 911, as cool as that might sound, because I think it takes something away from the prestige, or just the fact that it's relatively unique and rare. I think the fact that they're putting their R&D dollars and their supply chain, their resources behind cars like the Dakar, even the T, arguably, and the Sports Classic, bringing out the 992 Sports Classic, are they going to sell thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands of those? No. Are they going to be, owned by I don't know. It's just, I like the fact that they're coming up with these different variants, and they're not going to be making too many of them. In some respects, I think it's continuing to create excitement in the brand, and it's like protecting the brand, I think, long term, by having these special little offshoots of the main car.
No, I agree, and it's so great to see a brand that, in many respects, so many of the decisions they make seem to be, so perfectly calculated. and yet they do these things that are, on the flip side, quite whimsical, seemingly driven by the idea of just what if, the idea of let's have fun with this platform. So, as I say, while I can't imagine the car is going to be used the way it was intended, the truth is that's true of so many Porsches, right? There are the guys that buy a GT3 RS and same thing, just rolling it to cars and coffee. But but you know, there are those guys who and girls who will take that GT3 RS and they will take it to the track, or they will take it to the mountains, and they will actually experience it the way that Porsche intended. And I think it will be the same with the 911 Dakar. There will be someone who says, do you know what? Imagine this. Imagine a 992 off-road. I've got to try it like this. If I'm going to have this car, I'm going to use it the way that Porsche intended. And to those people, I say hats off. And yeah, to Porsche, I say I love anyone that is having a crack at trying different things, particularly when they have such a well-established business model. It is so difficult to break out of that business model and do something different. Yet Porsche seems to just every so often sprinkle a little bit of crazy, clown fairy dust in there and do something kind of kooky.
Yeah. Well, look, now you said you were being cynical. I'm now going to be like pessimistic. Did any part of you, looking at the release video that had the new Dakar running next to the original Rotham's classic through the desert, didn't that give you a bit of a Mad Max kind of vibe? Because it did to me, because I was thinking, so let's take this, one or two steps further forward. If Porsche are really thinking about the future of the planet and there is the electrical, kind of Taycan route, well, California, 20 years time, it's just a barren desert. It's been burnt to the ground, so many wildfires, but there are still these little populations of rich people living around on the coast. They don't want to drive the Mad Max car. They want to drive their 911, but it's not going to be a normal 911 because most of the roads will have just slid into the ocean or been covered in molten lava, or some kind of earthquake has gone through and decimated California. But if you're driving that 911 Dakar, you can still go and get your groceries. How about
Sorry,
that?
I fell asleep there for a second. Was that a...
Seriously, think about it.
Was this
Climate
a political
change
statement? What?
No, just when I was watching that release video, all I could think about was Mad Max, and I was like, "Yeah, the reboot of Mad Max in 20 years' time is going to have this Porsche in it."
No, so all you were actually thinking about was Charlize Theron. Okay, I know how your mind works. You that's where you went.
You
the
know
Mad Max reboot. You were like Charlize Theron because you guys are close, right? You had that encounter once.
You know that Charlize Theron and I don't get on very well. So
I know, but there's
why
still
would
time.
you bring
There's
that
still
up?
time. There's still time to turn that around. My first impression of you wasn't great, and we're friends now.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's any going back with Charlize, but
So hold on. So are you saying that the car needs to be electric to make sense? Are you saying that it's the only car that's going to be able to take on the diabolical dystopian future that we're going to be met with in 20 years' time?
No, what I'm saying is, in 20 years' time, in that dystopian future, would you rather be driving some hybrid, Volkswagen Golf that's had to be retrofitted with big tires so that it can drive off-road, or would you still like to go and drive your Porsche 911? Because the only 911 you're going to be able to drive in that dystopian future is something like the Dakar.
Look, you're probably right, because if it's like, if it's anything like what we've seen in Terminator, you got to drive over all those skulls. So
exactly. But you're going to do it in style.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. And I mean, at that point, so maybe the Rothmans livery is not what you want. You want like a matte black or something, and some kind of cannon, some kind of phaser cannon machine laser gun thing mounted to the roof.
Exactly.
Perhaps.
So I don't know if you guys have this in Australia, but there are a lot of guys
electricity.
over here.
I lived for a while now.
Yeah, right. Castlemine 4X and oil lamps. That's all you guys have got. No, there are guys over here, particularly in the Midwest, that have got these massive, like souped up off-road, Sahara trim Jeep Wranglers, and they've put the black wrap on, but they've got like a big logo on the hood that says like Zombie Response Squad.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. Yeah,
and it's kind of funny, So like if I had the Dakar, I think I might do something like that, Zombie Response Squad on my hood, or
yeah, it'd be like Zombie Rapid Response Squad. It's like
exactly.
You're the one that gets there quickest.
Yeah, ZRS, Zombie Rapid Response Squad. I love it. Yeah, totally. But so, what do we know about the Dakar apart from the fact that it's got some off-road capabilities? I mean,
well, I know you always like the numbers, right? You're always about the 0 to 100 or 0 to 62 time. So let's go straight to that. 3.4 seconds. Okay.
Whoa.
Top speed is 240 kilometers an hour. I don't know what that is in miles. I don't know.
Who cares what?
Metric
kilometers?
System. Come on, people.
Oh, God.
Hey, far out.
240 kilometers an hour is
it's like 80
fast.
miles an hour or something. Anyway, I mean, it looks cool. It's only it only sits 80 mils higher than a regular 911, so it's not like it's
really
super jacked up. Although, you know what, if you think about that in reverse, when you drop your car 20 mil, that's a pretty big drop. So 80 mils up is actually going to feel pretty large. The way Porsche are actually talking about it, though, as well, is that it is actually super comfortable, compliant, and dynamic on the road, in as much as it is on the sand dunes of Dakar or the gravel roads of the Nullarbor Plain. So, yeah, equal performance across. Do you know what, James? Do you know what? This is it. This is the car. This is the car. This is the car for our Sydney to Perth trip.
Yes! Exactly.
Finally makes sense.
Exactly. Dude, exactly. They've been listening to us. They were like, you know what? Those guys on Curb and Canyon have been talking about this road trip across Australia. We're going to build those two plums, the car that they deserve.
So all we need to do, so listeners, what we're going to do, we're going to start a GoFundMe for all three of you to help us raise money to help us raise money to buy a 911 Dakar that we are going to drive across Australia. It's going to happen. 2034.
I love it. I love it. Hey, look, right. Speaking of wait, hold on. Speaking of numbers, by the way, so yeah. I drew a line under my Auto Amateur podcast a couple of years ago when we started Curb and Canyon, and that gets like, maybe 10, 15, 20 downloads a week, and I haven't put any podcast episodes out there for a while. We haven't been putting out any episodes in the last month. Do you know what we downloaded last week? Close to 1,000. There was nearly 1,000 downloads last week. That's bonkers. We haven't put an episode out in a month, dude.
What other deep stats can we bore our audience with, do you reckon?
Well, 80 millimeters is 8 centimeters, dude, I think, if I remember that correctly.
Can we just talk over here a second? Jesus.
God.
What the heck? Okay, so real quick, let's wrap this up on the Dakar. Hit or miss?
Hit. Massive hit.
Yeah, agree. And I was and my first impression was miss, but I'm about it.
Good lad.
So, speaking of hit or miss, I need to vent a little. I've been looking for a platform upon which to do this. You know how Jay Reid recently posted on Insta or somewhere? I can't remember what it was, but I think he drew reference to the fact that people often take photos of the odometer in their 911 when it gets to 911, or their iPhone screen when it's on 911 and there's a photo of a 911 on their wallpaper. And hey, guys, stop doing it. You know this whole thing.
Oh, dude, I not only am aware of that, I proactively send him photos of my phone when it's 9/11 at night with ridiculous photos. I take every opportunity I can to wind him up. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, so at the risk then of having you flood my DMs with pictures, can I just ask, stop posting photos of 9/11s with Christmas trees on the roof. Honestly, we get it, but Jesus, what the heck?
Like, how many have you seen?
Oh, dude, it's like every year, halfway through December, people start posting photos. And sometimes they're just rehashing old photos, or sometimes it's, hey, look at me. I'm using my car the way they intended. It's the sports car for every day. You can go and collect a tree and put it on the roof. I don't care that you can put a tree on the roof, all right? Enough. Just
You're such a
enough.
miserable bastard.
No,
So
I'm
miserable.
not. I'm not. It's overdone. And it's because to me, it's that thing of going, everyone who does it, it's like they're the first person doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, the first person on TikTok that posted a video of themselves flossing. It's just.
Did you have any really troubling Christmases in your childhood, Andy? Is Christmas sensitive in some kind of way?
There was one year where, talking Christmas trauma, when my brother gave me a present and I broke it the first time I used it. And so then I just hid it in my cupboard and never used it again. Never told him, and he probably wondered why I never used this cool thing he gave me. I broke it the first time I used it. So yeah. No, I love Christmas. I do. I just think, I don't know. It's just a bit played out at this point for me. Were you planning on taking a photo with a Christmas tree on the roof of Bluey?
Well, you know what? Let me just take this opportunity to put a request out there to our listeners. Please
flood Andy's DMs.
Flood Andy's DMs with photos of any cars with Christmas trees on. Doesn't have to be Porsches. Can be, any sort of shitbox that you see carrying a tree around. You please direct it to Andy at Last Rasp.
Just so you guys all know, the reason James and I rarely podcast is that usually there's a period of 4 to 5 weeks where James is apologising to me for some transgression, such as this one, and I need to learn to forgive him. We need to learn to get past it before we're willing to talk to one another again.
Yeah. So tell us about your trip to Tassie. I've got to say, and I don't know which one of you made this decision, but I'm utterly disappointed by the lack of content that came out of that trip. I saw a few shots. It looked really good, but it just, what's going on? Did you have any fun?
Not really. Well, there was some guidelines on content. There were some guidelines. There is a video. There is a video, but I'm not very happy with it, and I'm not
really?
sure. Yeah, I deliberately thought I'm going to try and do this lo-fi, and I had a really specific approach that I wanted to take, but the audio is just really quite bad. So I may release it at some point with a caveat. Hey guys, the audio in this video is shit. But it's probably still worth showing. But yes, James, the trip was amazing. And if I'm honest, going into it, I probably thought, okay, I know Tasmania is going to be good. I've heard that it's great, but I just wondered whether perhaps it was a little bit overhyped, whether, good roads, but hey, we've got good roads. We drive them every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It was mind-blowing in so many ways. So many ways. I can't adequately explain how good it was. I mean, first of all, so we arrived, the Spirit of Tasmania, the boat, which you take overnight, leaves from a place called Geelong, which is about an hour out of Melbourne. We arrive there on the Thursday afternoon, load the boats up. I have to say a shout out to my pal Simon, who arrived in Geelong and then fell really sick. and turned and went home, the poor guy.
Oh, no.
Just devastating for him. You know, we've all been looking forward to this trip for so long. And yeah, so shout out to you, Simon. Anyway, we load up. The boat's great. Sailed overnight. I had an okay sleep. It was a bit rocky here and there, but no problem at all. We arrive in Devonport first thing in the morning, 6:30 a.m. We leave the boat, and we were split into groups. So we had 4 groups of 5, and I was leading one of the groups. Immediately on disembarking the boat, we were all separated. And and my group got lost, so we started poorly. But anyway, we all connected, and that was fine. And then the roads from the get-go were just incredible and never ending. And that was the amazing thing, was that, you know, you'd be driving a road and thinking, this is just so good, but it would go for so long. It was incredible. And every time you drove a road and thought, wow, that right there, that's as good as it gets. That for me is perfection. And then you'd stop, and then you'd drive the next road, and it was even better. And the other thing that was really great about it was that I'm so used to driving roads where the surrounding flora, the trees, forest, etc., is always the same. It's always kind of drab Aussie bush. But, you know, some of the landscapes we saw were just incredible. You know, the top of Cradle Mountain was just this open, vast landscape that was incredible. You'd be driving through fern rainforest the next. You know, there was one section of road on the third day that it looked like you're in Scotland or Wales. Another section that, you know, looked like you're in the Black Forest in Germany. Just so many different changes. And, you know, there was one day where, I think it was the second day, we'd driven in the morning, and we'd actually backtracked over a road that we'd driven the night before. And, you know, it's funny. I always think when I'm planning drives that you don't want to drive the same road twice. Most of us, it wasn't till we actually arrived at our first stop that a lot of people realized we just drove a road that we'd driven the day before, because driving it in reverse just seemed completely different. And then the next section of road we drove was, we didn't see another car, and how should I say this without incriminating ourselves? Just the speeds you were able to go were just incredible, because there's no other traffic. The quality of the tarmac is so good, and the roads are all, everything about them, the camber, all of this stuff is all seemingly designed with the driver in mind. And, you know, I'd heard horror stories about Tasmania, and, you know, in fact, this year at Target Tasmania, there were a few deaths. So I thought the road surface was going to be a real problem, but actually, you know, the opposite was true. And so you just had this incredible sense of being able to drive at speed and it feeling really, really safe. We had an incredible mix of cars. It was, I mean, there were 6 GT4s, which was outrageous.
That's offensive.
Yeah,
it's offensive.
Well, and for all of us bar one, you know, our GT4s had been acquired, you know, in the months leading up to Tasmania. So many of us were actually just getting to learn these cars for the first time properly on this trip, myself included. You know, I've had a few good runs in it, but Tasmania was the first opportunity where I really got to come to grips with the car, to drive it in a variety of conditions, on, you know, tight technical twisties, on high-speed open sweepers, in dry, in wet. And it is every bit as good as, you know, every article or review would have you believe.
Really? That's good.
Dude, the car just, it could not have been a better car for what I did in it. It just blew me away how good it was. The sound of it, it was comfortable but exciting. It was capable but engaging. It was just such a great car to drive the whole time. I couldn't fault it.
Oh, that's awesome.
We usually navigate these trips using Google Maps, and I think we've spoken about this before. And the challenge with Google Maps can be that you have Google will always try and reroute you on the most direct route.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which drives me crazy. So what you always end up doing is adding multiple waypoints so that you can prevent it from doing so. But that means often if you're doing a full day's drive, you need to split that day into multiple maps to make it work.
Yeah.
We've started using an app called Scenic, which was designed for motorcycle touring, and it's a great app where you can set your route in Google Maps, then export it into Scenic. And once it's in Scenic, it's locked in, which is great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Really good app. They're working on an Android version at the moment, so that'll come. I helped the guys out who'd organised it. I helped them out with just tweaking the maps a little bit and getting them into Scenic. But the really great thing about Scenic, which we didn't know at the time, is at the end of the day, when you finish your journey, it gives you this this screen that gives you all the stats from your day's drive. You know, how many kilometers you covered. You can set it to miles. You know what your average speed was and what your top speed was.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, this became, it was essentially the gamification of top speed, right? Like every day it was like, how fast did you go today? I don't want to incriminate myself, but let's just say some speeds were reached. Some speeds
Wow.
were reached, and you just felt so safe to do so because it was on like day 2, for example. We stopped at this dam, and then we were driving back towards this town, and I remember driving along this open section of road where it was a few long straights and then just some really casual kind of sweepers. And I stopped and I was on my own. And I was driving along, James, I could have been driving across the moon. I didn't see another car for 25 minutes. And
wow.
you could see everything. So you just had all this visibility. So it just felt safe to be able to carry speed. And actually, even the police that we saw down there, you know, we drove past one cop car coming in the other direction, and we were, let's say, over the speed limit, and he just gave us a little wave. You know, it was like it was nothing. If we were in our home state of Victoria, he would have pulled us all over. We would have had our cars impounded and we would have all gone to jail. But there, I think they understand that motorcycle touring cars, groups like ours, you know, they're the lifeblood of the economy. So they're not going to pull people over for, let's say, slight transgressions.
Well, I was going to ask. I mean, for people who don't know, including myself, what's on Tasmania? Is there any population to speak of? Is there any industry? Is it all just fields and mountains and open roads?
Yeah, it feels a bit that way. I mean, there's mining, there's tourism, there's kind of ecotourism, if you like, mountain biking, food. It's actually a lovely place to visit if you love hiking, those types of things. It's an amazing place, captivatingly beautiful. But the one thing about it is it feels remote. You don't see that many people. You know, there was the town, day one, the town where we had lunch, other than when I went into the pub to get a coffee, pub coffee, I didn't see another soul in that town. You know, the town we stayed in on the second night, a place called Queenstown, kind of felt like this town that time forgot. You know, there's just seemingly no one there other than, again, at the pub. So, no, it's very remote. And even, it was funny, on the last day, we had a little bit of traffic in the morning, and it was funny the difference between, and we've spoken about this before, some people would see, a group of Porsches coming up behind them and pull over to the side of the road and, deliberately get out of your way. There were a few people who deliberately actually block us. But for the most part, by and large, A, we had very little traffic to speak of over the 3 days anyway, and B, most people that we came upon were quite willing to let us go by and seemed, okay with this group of Porsches doing their thing. So yeah, it was easily the best trip I've ever had, no doubt. I actually, just jumping sideways for a second, talking about content. On the first day, we'd stopped for lunch, and I was filming with my drone, and I just wanted to get a shot of the group, all of the guys who were there. And so I did this kind of forward tracking shot, and everyone's looking up at the drone, and I wasn't happy with the shot. And I'm just watching. Do you ever do that thing where you're using your drone, where you stop watching the drone and you just start watching the screen only? You're only looking at the monitor.
Yeah.
I was doing that, and I thought, no, I need to go back and do that again. And so I just reversed the drone, watching only the screen, and glanced up just in time to see the drone at full speed in reverse go flying into the roof of the stoop over the front of this old store that was probably built in the 1920s or something. It hits the stoop, which is on an angle, kind of shoots up into the air, then lands upside down on its rotors on the roof of this stoop, and is just shaking up there like crazy. And all my mates are like, "Oh shit!" So we had to. So hats off to my good pal Steve, who was probably the lightest of the group, who were able to give a boost up onto the roof, and he got this. Oh man! He got my drone down for me. A little bit of damage to the rotors, but nothing catastrophic, thank God.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. I'm now on my third drone. It's not a very nice feeling, is it?
No, and the fact that everybody watched it, and then just moments later, I was trying to get another shot, and there was this kind of ravine near where we were, and I was just backing myself up, and I walked off the edge. So I'm just staring up at the drone, walking backwards, and I just walk off the edge of the ravine. Now, I didn't go tumbling to my doom, obviously, as I sit here talking to you. There was a little ledge right there, but I sort of slipped over as I did it. Oh my God. And when you do something like that, the first thing you do is look up to see if anybody saw. Because yeah. And I look across, and my mate Dale's just looking at me, shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, "Damn it, somebody saw."
It is funny, isn't it? You just like, okay, who saw me do that? Did I get away with it?
Yeah. I will say as well. So, both Alan and I took we did a photo drop, each of us, and I kind of went a different way on my photos than what I typically do. I went full black and white, which added a really different dimension to the photography. I will drop these on Instagram, and then Al dropped his photos, and man, he did such an incredible job of capturing not only the cars but the people who were there, and that was a bit of the brief from the organisers was let's try and make it as much about the people as we can. And as a way to wrap up, I should just say to PJ and Darren who organised it, it was really, really well organised. It was just an incredible couple of days. It really was.
That's amazing. And yeah, I mean, he's got mad skills with that camera.
Oh, dude,
he's so good.
Yeah. I sometimes I'll be taking a shot and I'll think, here we go, come at me, Alan, I've got you here, mate. And then I'll see his version of it and I'll be like, okay, camera's away. Stick to your little moving videos, Andy.
That's good. Well, so I'm that sounds awesome. I'm quite envious of that trip now, especially having just put my car away. I'm thinking to the new year now about the trips I want to do next year. Jay and I have just, and a couple of others, we've signed up for the Porsche Club of America's Works reunion, which is on
yeah.
Amelia Island in Florida. So we're going to be, I think I'm going to meet Jay in DC, and we're going to put our cars on the Amtrak train and take the train down to Florida. And then, go and do what we're going to do on there. It's like a 3-day event. There's the Works reunion on the Friday. There's local cars and coffee on the Saturday. And then there's some other Porsche event on the Sunday. But I'm thinking about taking a detour on the way home and, maybe going through the South, cutting my way up through the Ozarks. But I'm looking forward to that. That's only the beginning of March. So hopefully I can actually get out of the Midwest in my 996 because there is still going to be snow on the floor, snow on the ground.
That was at the start of that, I was thinking, wow, welcome to Curb, Canyon, and Rail.
Yeah.
Like, 3 days of tearing around the hills of Tasmania. James is taking a train ride.
Yeah. But when you think about the distance involved, I'm going to be.
It makes perfect sense.
Oh,
it makes perfect sense.
It's going to take me 2 full days of driving, if not 2.5 full days of driving to get to DC.
Yeah,
and then we take the overnight train to get down there. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Will you do? And are you thinking any other trips for any other Tail of the Dragon type trips next year?
I'm not sure. I think so. I really want to go to the West Coast.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Tail of the Dragon in the autumn is just absolutely spectacular.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm going to Florida in March and I go and do Tail of the Dragon in October, I'd like to think in June, July time there's an opportunity to get out to the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see that part of the world. And also looking at Chris's footage from his Idaho trip recently, just anywhere towards the Rockies, getting out that sort of way, and further over west, I think would just be absolutely phenomenal. But I don't know, will it be in the 996 or not? I just keep going backwards and forwards on what I'm going to do with it. It sits in my garage for a few days, and I'm thinking, all right, let's just ship it on, get something else, and then I take it out for a drive, and I just fall in love with it all over again.
Well, I gotta say, day one in Tasmania, my pal Aaron, he's got a Gen 1 996. He doesn't get out in it that often, but I was following him in the GT4 day one, and dude, the capability of that car, and his car is, other than some coilovers, and they're not Bilsteins or anything. That car is stock as a rock, and far out, man, so capable. That thing was just hammering along, no trouble keeping up with anyone. Those cars are so good, so good.
Yeah. I keep thinking, what would I get if I didn't have that?
Well, so where's your head right now? Because this does seem to be a vacillating thing for you, where a little bit of time on your hands, and suddenly you're thinking another 991, a 997.
Yeah,
where are you at right now? Come on.
Well, so I drove a friend's GT2, 992 GTS the other day. Right. I was doing some work on it for him, and he was kind enough to let me take it out for a spin for a day and make a video.
Oh, I've seen this video. Yeah.
Oh, mate, it was such a great car to drive. I mean, I don't know whether I'd want a GTS over like a 992 Carrera, frankly. I don't know if there's too much of a difference, or the S, but it was just gorgeous. So, of course, then I spent the next week or so just dreaming of 992s.
Yeah.
I'm so fickle. And then where did I go? I went over to somebody's place about a week ago and installed a Joy Auto system and a backup camera on his 991.1 GT3. And it was red with black interior with all the I mean, it was just like the dream spec. Yeah. It had the black lights. It had the carbon fiber trim. It had the gold kind of bronzy sort of wheels. It was absolutely... Oh, he did such a great job. It was absolutely gorgeous. And so then, of course, I spent the next couple of weeks doing nothing but searching for 991 GT3s. So I don't know. I just, I really don't know.
If you had to put a percentage chance on, is it a 50% chance? Is it a 70% chance that you'll move the 996 and upgrade or update? What do we think it is?
I don't know.
50-50?
I would say if everything else remains the same, I will probably it's probably more like 60-40. I'll keep it.
Okay.
But in the next year or two, Ruthie and I, my wife and I, we're talking about plans for the future and things we want to do, and she's got her sights set on an investment property, and
makes sense.
I'm like, why get an investment property when we could get a garage?
An investment car.
It's still well, no, an investment property to her is like a nice little 2 or 3 bed house in the city that we can rent out.
I get it. Yeah, it makes sense.
An investment property to me is an
extension
a 5
of the
car garage. In which case, if I do get my dream garage, but I'm thinking about one of those dedicated garage facilities that are quite popular here in the States.
Yeah.
What you'd spend on a 1 or a 2 bedroom single family home is kind of what you'd spend on a garage that would give you enough room for a loft with an entertainment space with enough space for at least 2 or 3, if not 4 cars down below. God, I just imagine taking the kids out there at the weekend. They're playing Xbox upstairs in the loft. I'm downstairs wrenching on the cars, in which case I would keep the 996 and then I would get something else. But, that's all just a bit of a pipe dream at the moment.
And it's great. I mean, because you and Ruthie would literally never have to see each other then.
Exactly.
She'd love it.
She'd I think actually she has said before, she's like, look, if we ever do that, I just don't think I'll ever see you again.
No, she's
because
right.
You'll work from that.
She's right, dude. She's absolutely right. Mind you, at least it's still property, and if it's closer to the city, it's still an investment.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, actually, you raise an interesting point, though. For me, I just found out yesterday that I'm losing my garage space for the GT4, which is problematic.
No.
Yeah, because
why?
So I think I've told listeners I had I did a deal with my next door neighbour who has a 2.5 car garage to get access to that garage, my own remote control, access to it anytime I like, which is so great because it means that basically my 2 Porsches live at home, or pretty much may as well be at home. I can choose whichever car I want to drive whenever I want. But she's selling the house, which I knew was probably going to happen at some stage in 2023, but her plans have accelerated, and her ex-husband is buying her out of the house. He used to live there, and actually wants the car park back in right after New Year's. So yes,
aren't people just selfish? People are so selfish and inconsiderate.
They're not. Think about the little guy. That's all I'm saying. Just think about the little guy. Just
the little guy with his 2 Porsches.
With his 2 Porsches. This is what I like to call a David and Goliath story, James. And I'm fighting him on it. I am. So anyway,
haven't you got a 2-car garage already?
Yeah, I do. But my wife's. I always said to my wife, I'm not going to evict your car out of the garage so that I can have 2 Porsches in there. I just didn't think that was fair. And we got her.
Mistake
But also she was she was rear-ended earlier in the year, and we got her a new car a few months ago, and it's actually really lovely. So I want to keep that car garaged. Plus, my daughter, who turns 18 in a week, she now has a car. So our house is starting to look like a used car lot. So, so I'm conscious of that too. So, look, I've got my pal Dale. He has some space available in his factory. Well, I hope he still does. I haven't spoken with him yet. Dale, if you're listening, we're going to talk.
So, is this going to put you under any pressure to get rid of Little Green?
Why would you even say that? That's
because
never,
I'm just,
that's
I'm a
never
planner,
gonna
Andy.
happen.
I think about all scenarios.
It's never going to happen. If I had to sell a Porsche tomorrow, the GT4 would be gone.
Yeah.
And let me just clear that up. I'm not planning to sell it, but no, if I can only keep one, it'll always be Little Green. And it's funny, we've had a few drives since Tasmania, and every drive I've done since, I've been in Little Green in the 964, and yeah, it still feels like home. It still feels like home.
That's nice. That's nice. There's me one. I worry about Little Green.
I know you do.
Don't see too much about him on social media these days.
Well, so a little update on Little Green. About over a year ago now, I did a big upgrade to the car. We converted to Motec. I did this through Ninemeister in the UK, so they have a Motec conversion kit, which is the Motec a custom intake and bigger fuel injectors. And, we'd done a lot of research on it. I'd spoken with Colin at Ninemeister, my mechanic from Nine Auto, local independent Porsche specialist here in Melbourne, had a conversation with him, and we really felt it was a good way to go, both in terms of power and drivability. Yeah. So we did the install. The car was then taken to a place called Melbourne Performance Centre, who specialise in Motec tuning, and to get the tune right. But it's never really been great, if I'm honest, and it's been one of those modifications where I've wondered if, in making the modification, I've actually set the car backwards rather than forwards. It caused more harm than good. We've had, to their credit, the guys at Melbourne Performance Centre have had the car back maybe 7 times in terms of trying to fine tune it, but the problem was, every time they solved one problem, it created another one. So at low speeds, the car would sort of shunt or buck, if you like, which felt terrible. The car was, sometimes the engine would just cut out when you put the clutch in. So you might be driving along even just a highway and go to change from 4th to 3rd, let's say, and then just cut out, which is dangerous.
No way.
Yeah. So they'd compensated for that by setting the idle basically to, I can't remember how it worked, but the idle control valve was always open so that it couldn't cut out. But then the responsiveness was rubbish. It wasn't driving that well, and I was not enjoying it. And so I finally reached back out to Colin at Ninemeister, and I said, listen, these are the problems I'm having. I had the guys at Nine Auto, my mechanics, they did a major service on the car. And just make sure that there were no mechanical issues at play. And then I reached out to Colin. I was sent the file, the tune map, which is just a 72 kilobyte file, that was the latest tune that Melbourne Performance Centre had done. I sent that to Colin in the UK and said, listen, here's the tune. Take a look and see what you think. The next morning, he sent me a different tune. He'd taken my tune and reworked it. I took the car to Nine Auto. We plugged it in. They installed the tune. It's a very simple process. Transformed. Completely different car. Oh, man. Just everything I had hoped that the Motec conversion would deliver, and all of this pain and heartache we'd gone through to try and get it right. And then Colin, I was kicking myself. Why did I not get him to do it earlier? Because it's just transformed the car, man. The guy knows his stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's
that's amazing.
So good. Such a great outcome. My goodness.
Yeah, so often with those scenarios, frustration or, impatience just leads you to ditch the aftermarket component in favor of just going, play it safe, go back to factory, just forget it. It wasn't meant to be. But you actually pushed through and you made it work. That's awesome.
Well, and also I think sometimes in that situation as well, you get to this point where it's hard to see the forest for the trees. Do you know what I mean? You're going, the answer's right in front of me. It's really obvious. Just go back to the source. But we just kept trying to solve it. And I think one of the challenges was, if you look at Ninemeister, they design these conversion kits. They are mechanics. They are tuners. They do it all in the one place. Whereas I bought the kit from them. I had my mechanics fit it, and then a separate tuning shop doing the tuning. And I'm not trying to disparage MPC, because they're great guys. They're really, really good at what they do, and they were super, super helpful. So, I want to be really clear that I'm not throwing them under the bus. I think the truth is that air-cooled 911s perhaps weren't their they're not their specialty, but having three resources working on it just wasn't that great. It wasn't that, or two resources, I should say, wasn't that effective. So, it was that thing of just stepping back a bit. And it was actually, I think, Tim at 9 Auto who said to me, he was great actually working with him. He said, listen, why don't you just go back to Colin at Ninemeister, send him the tune that we've got, and let's see what he says. And it was like, you know what? Yeah, of course. Like, slap my forehead. That makes so much sense.
Well, I'm glad, man. That's really cool. So now you got a result.
Yeah. An awesome result. That car is just phenomenal. So, I think I'm going to be doing a lot of driving in Little Green this summer. And, the next Alpine Range Rally, I think, maybe that'll be in the GT4.
Well, wait, so that reminds me, you asked me if I was going to do any trips next year. I mentioned to you just recently, I really want to get out to Australia. And I want to get out to Australia just like everybody wants to go and visit, place that they've thought of for all of their life. But just recently, my friend Jody, one of my best friends in the world, lives in Perth. She managed to come out to the States for 2 weeks with one of her friends. And I planned to see her in New York, and that fell through because we all got sick. And then I was going to go and see her when she got to Vegas, and that fell through because I had to go to the East Coast on business. So I haven't seen her in, God, I want to say, like, I talk to her every day, but I haven't actually seen her physically in like 13, 14 years now. Yeah. Since we were both in London. And so the fact that I missed her here, I'm heartbroken and gutted. So I want to get back out. I want to go and see her, but then I want to come and see you. I'm going to do a road trip. So I'm going to try really hard to make Australia work this summer. Will it be your winter, my summer? So maybe I'll be doing that instead of the Tail of the Dragon. I don't know, but I've already started saving my Marriott points and my Delta Air miles and everything I can to help me on that trip. But did I tell you I found a place to hire a 911? I mean, it's Porsche Melbourne. I think it is.
Yeah, you did, and I've just got to say straight up, dude, if you're coming out here, then you and me absolutely, I'm going to really make sure that I plan everything so perfectly so that I'm not here when you arrive.
I knew that was coming.
I know, it's a softball, wasn't it?
I also thought you were going to say something nice at the same time.
No, dude. I will. Don't worry. We're gonna do some stuff. So PCM they do this hire thing, which is incredible. I mean, it's not cheap, is my sense of it, and I imagine there's a mileage limit. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think if you can rent it for a day at a time, or for as many as 4 days at a time.
Okay.
And if you rent it for a day, you get a limit of 350 kilometers.
Okay.
If you rent it for 4 days, you get, I think it's 750. So it's not a multiplication.
Is there a can you pay a premium to, sort of step that up some and top it up, so to speak?
I think so, but I was just planning on doing a Scouser. I was just going to, drive whatever miles I want, drop it off, throw the keys at him, and do a runner.
Yeah, or we jack it up and put it in reverse, Ferris Bueller style.
Drive as many miles as I want and then do a runner when I drop it off. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's something like that, but if I don't know what the itinerary will be, but let's say for the sake of argument,
it's going to be amazing.
I'm in Melbourne for a week. I rent it for 4 days.
Yeah,
go and do a bunch of drives.
Man,
I don't need.
How cool.
I don't need the car the entire time I'm there, but I'd love to pull that off. Absolutely love to pull that off.
Yeah, it'd be incredible.
So how many days should I plan for our drive from Melbourne to Perth?
I thought you were going to say, how many days should I be planning to be sleeping in your spare room? Let's talk about that off air.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, because it's our spare room is the study where I record this, which is right next door to my son's bedroom, and you'd be kept awake until 3 a.m. with him playing whatever first person shoot 'em up he's playing. But anyway.
Oh damn! I'll be in there playing with him. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many days would it take to drive from Melbourne to Perth? He asked innocently.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's like 3 or 4 days. No, I think we worked this out last time. It's 3 or 4 days. It's not horrific.
That's not terrible.
No,
like non-stop, like back to back 4 days.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Still.
It's hard enough. Like these conversations, I finish them up, and I'm like, yeah, that was good. I don't think we need 4 days with each other. Just kidding, mate. I love you.
Oh my god! Yeah, just imagine 4 days like shoved into the side of Little Green.
You'd just be hanging out the window with claustrophobia.
Oh my god! It'd be pretty funny though if we recorded the entire thing all the way there.
God, can you imagine?
We'd record the next 6 seasons of Curb and Canyon in 4 days.
At least we'd actually get them done.
Oh, fun!
Hey,
well, look. So let's
hold on. Christmas, right? It's coming up. Before we wrap this up, what's on your Christmas wish list? What, like, if Santa's coming, what do you want him bringing you?
I'm not really a big present kind of Christmas kind of guy. It's like I just want to spend time with my kids and my family and just watch them open their presents and have a bit of fun and eat some nice food and that's about it really.
Wow, way to kill a segment.
No, I think we. I've never been that kind of guy. I could also say that I would appreciate a couple of days in the garage just by myself to wrench on the car. Of course, that would be welcome. But what about you, Mr. Gaunt?
Well, I would like I need a new exhaust tip for the and that's not a euphemism. For the 964.
Why would that be a euphemism?
I just, I thought how you would respond to it. I thought you'll say something bad, so I'm going to get it ahead of time. So yeah, an exhaust tip for the 964. I'd like some Recaro pole positions for the 964, which I know you're a fan of. I don't know. Maybe Margot Robbie from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in that silver 911. She could drop by. That'd be good.
Okay. Yeah. Is Kath listening to this right now, or will she?
Love you, sweetheart. No, she's never listened to a single episode. Even when I was on the Auto Amateur podcast, and I was like, hey, sweetheart, I've been on this podcast. It's with this dude James. He's pretty famous. He's a pretty big deal, and you should listen to it. I think it went okay. And she's like, oh yeah, I'd love to. Never did.
That's funny.
So yes, I think I'm safe.
All right, well, fair dues. Margot Robbie, though, let me just say, completely overrated in every way. Did I just really say that? No, I didn't really say that. Yeah, I did. But that car she was driving in that Tarantino movie, oh my God. Like, whose car is that?
Do you know what? I think I heard an interview with. In fact, no, it wasn't an interview on the extras with that movie. There's a guy who did all the cars, and I can't remember where he got it, but I think there's two of them. Is my understanding. Maybe that's right.
Oh, really?
Someone will correct me, but yeah, I think there were two of them. But yeah, cool car. Although I heard Spike Ferriston talking about it, saying that the mirrors were wrong for the year that the film was set in. Whatever.
Oh God. Good job, mate. So what are your plans for the new year, Mr. Last Rasp? I never post any content anymore. Go on.
Yeah, I've retired. No, I am planning. I've got some time off. I am planning a video. Yeah, I am. I've been working through it. So there's a video coming. There's a video coming. What about you? Some wrenching videos, I imagine.
Well, I feel like I've been at this now forever. I've been editing and re-editing all the footage I took from my last trip to the Tail of the Dragon in October. And that was one where I wasn't really planning on making a video, but every day I was there, I sort of forced myself into shooting content, and there was just stuff that I really got excited about. Yeah. So I sort of filmed it. So I've got a bunch of footage without any real thought into what the story was that I was trying to tell. Right. Oh my God. So I've edited and re-edited that one several times. So I've got that one coming. I've got another 992 video coming. I'm about to put a Soul Performance exhaust system on a friend's brand spanking new 992 Turbo S.
Oh, wow. Nice.
That's going to be
incredible.
Oh, that's going to be fun. And he's going to leave it with me for the week. He's like, oh yeah, just keep it for the week, whatever you want. You want to make a video? Sure.
Sucks to be you.
Okay. I know, right? So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I think I don't know. I want to come up with every year I try and come up with a slightly different plan for my channel, and I haven't got one yet.
Okay. Well, like
last year,
say neither have I.
Yeah, but last year was really about getting 996 finished and sort of getting that proven in. The year before that, it was all the focus was on the 991. The year before that was Project 996. The year before that was my 997. I've tried having some years where I do more DIY videos and other years where I've done more sort of car review videos. Yeah. So this year I'm just trying to think of a way of trying to keep it fresh and doing something slightly different, but still, keep it true to my auto amateur,
your roots.
I don't want to say brand, but I just want to say, random dicking around in the garage. So
no, I love that. We'll do you know, I think whatever content I put out, most of it will be sort of review related. It was really nice in Tasmania whilst I filmed some bits and pieces, to not have to pull over on the side of the road all the time and film cars driving by.
Yeah.
That was actually really good. So I think I'm pretty much done with rally videos. And you know what? They don't perform that well on my channel anyway. So my next Alpine Range rally, I may leave the cameras at home altogether.
Isn't that a bugger? Actually, of all of the videos that I make, I enjoy the rally videos the most, and they get the least views.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're the ones that actually take the most effort.
They take the most effort,
the most imagination.
Yeah, and I also think they cost you in terms of. Well, it's not like they stop you enjoying the rally, but from time to time, like I say, you're driving ahead of everyone so that you can film them driving past, and then you're driving trying to catch up to everybody, rather than just, PJ, who was one of the organisers in Tassie, said to me, one of the reasons I'd rather you not make a video is he said, I want you to just be in the moment and just enjoy it, and not be having to worry about what you're capturing. And it was a good shout. So yeah, I think I'll do it. I think I'll direct my attention much more to the crafted videos, the reviews, so to speak.
Very good. And Curb and Canyon. I've got to say, this year Talking to you is always fun, of course. I've got to say that, of course, obligatory. Just give my co-host props. But one of the things I've really enjoyed this year has been some of the guests we've had on.
Yeah.
If I can just spitball for a minute about our plans for next year, I'd love to do more of that. It's been so much fun. I mean, like just recently getting Andy on from Nine Works, and we spoke to Darren, and we spoke to Drew, and Chris. We had a really good run of guests this year.
No, we did. I agree. It's obviously tricky managing it from a timing perspective with particularly guests over in, say, Europe. To make that work with all three of us is always a bit tricky. But certainly guest stateside, it's a hell of a lot easier. And yeah, all of the people who joined us this year were just so generous with their time, and it's one of the things that I love about getting to do this is it actually opens up the opportunity to meet people that you genuinely admire and that you hold in high esteem, and to have the opportunity to sit there and chat to someone like Chris, for example, for an hour, like, really? That's amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, so, I know, right? Exactly.
I mean, I've reached out to a few people and had either knockbacks or radio silence. But yeah, there'll be more guests next year. Don't you worry about that. I got a hit list. I'm gonna go hard on getting them on next year.
Good lad. Well, I think that wraps it up for not only another Curb and Canyon podcast, but season 2, which has been running this year. Andy, what an absolute cracker of a year. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, it has. And I can't wait for next year. And yeah, just to keep this going. And every day, every time we do these pods, I know I give you shit, but honestly, I hang up the call. I hang up the call and think that's one of the funnest conversations I've had all week, if not the funnest conversation I've had all week. So thank you, my friend. You are a good lad. I know you hang up your phone. You're like, oh, I got to really roast that bastard this week.
I think we both give as good as we get, to be fair.
Well, mate, love to Kath and all of yours. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, and to Ruthie and your crew.
All right, bud. And to all of our listeners.
Yeah, happy holidays, you guys. Merry Christmas. Stay safe. And look forward to catching you all in 2023.